During my childhood, my father was my main source of inspiration. He emphasized the importance of education and hoped that I would pursue a career in medicine. As a model student, I never received a failing grade, and I always had plans to attend college. But when my father passed away suddenly, my world fell apart. I felt trapped, with no way out of the overwhelming mess I found myself in. I felt as though my ambitions were unattainable and that I would never be able to achieve them. However, my high school boyfriend, now my husband, came to my rescue when he saw me in a state of agony and despair. He made the courageous decision to take on the financial responsibility of our future together. Despite it being a difficult choice, he opted not to pursue his own aspirations of earning a higher degree so that he could fully support me. My business partner had unwavering belief in my abilities and was willing to go to great lengths to help me achieve my objectives in the field of IT. He worked tirelessly to ensure that I had the financial support necessary to pursue my education, often putting in long hours. My husband was equally selfless and made a difficult sacrifice, as he too had dreams of attending college and landing a good job after graduation. Despite the challenges, he recognized the importance of my education for our present and future. Thus, my husband was determined to do whatever it took to make it happen. He took on multiple jobs to provide for us, working at a local factory during the day and taking on additional gigs in the evenings to supplement his income. But the combined income from his jobs was insufficient to cover the expenses of both my education and our daily living. Consequently, my husband made the decision to venture into farming despite having no prior experience in the field. He wholeheartedly embraced the challenge, dedicating long hours to learn the trade while also providing me with emotional support as I navigated the challenges of college life. As a farmer, he would wake up early, toil under the sun for extended periods, and return home exhausted and covered in dirt. Despite the grueling nature of his farm work, my husband never once complained. His unwavering commitment to providing for us paid off, as we were able to afford my tuition and living expenses, allowing me to focus solely on my studies without financial worries. Although the journey was challenging, my husband's unwavering dedication and selflessness paved the way for me to achieve my dreams. His hard work as a farmer served as the bedrock of our financial stability. I will forever be indebted to my husband for his unwavering commitment to my education. As I reflect on those years, I realize that he made more than just financial sacrifices. He also put his own aspirations and dreams on hold for the betterment of our future. His choice to embrace farming and delay his own goals was a selfless act of love that will always hold a special place in my heart. Thanks to my husband's unwavering support and selflessness, I was able to successfully earn my PhD degree. Although he may not have a college education, his heart is filled with love and a spirit of selflessness, which are far more valuable qualities. The road to my degree was a constant juggling act, and there were moments when I felt like giving up. But whenever I felt overwhelmed, my husband was always by my side, cheering me on and lifting me up. During times of challenging exams and lengthy study sessions, my husband served as a constant reminder of why I was pursuing my academic goals and how important it was to keep pushing forward. He would stay up with me, providing encouragement and ensuring that I had everything I needed to succeed. In addition, he would assist with household tasks and errands when I was working long hours at my part-time job, allowing me to prioritize my studies. His unwavering support gave me the strength and determination to persist through difficult times. Thanks to his unwavering support, I was able to earn my PhD years later. Earning my PhD was a moment of great satisfaction and success for both my husband and me. He was thrilled to see his unwavering support translate into such a significant achievement. We had long looked forward to celebrating this milestone together, but little did I know that it would also mark the beginning of the end of our marriage. Following the completion of my degree, I was fortunate enough to secure a position as a lecturer at a prestigious university in the city. This role allowed me to impart knowledge to students, mentor them, and pursue research in my area of expertise. The job I landed after earning my PhD was beyond my wildest dreams. It was not only fulfilling and enriching, but it also paid well. Finally, I could pay off my student loans and provide for my family without financial worries. However, what truly mattered to me was the chance to impact my students' lives positively. As a lecturer, I had the opportunity to motivate and inspire my pupils to think deeply and follow their passions. My role as a lecturer allowed me to impart my knowledge and expertise to others in a stimulating and thought-provoking manner. It was a two-way street, as I was also able to learn from my colleagues and students. The work was intellectually and emotionally rewarding, and while the financial security that came with the job was a bonus, it wasn't the driving force behind my dedication. The opportunity to positively impact my students' lives and contribute to the growth of my field of expertise was what motivated me. The unwavering support of my husband was a constant source of joy and encouragement throughout the entire journey. He was thrilled for me and continued to provide steadfast support every step of the way. My husband was always there to celebrate my achievements and share in my joy with each new milestone, even though he did not pursue an advanced degree himself. He has been my biggest supporter and cheerleader throughout my academic journey. My success was his success, and I know that he made significant personal sacrifices to help me pursue my goals. I am forever grateful for his unwavering encouragement and dedication. I was finally in a position to give back to my husband and our family in ways that we had never thought possible. The job was the result of years of hard work and dedication, and it was a testament to the sacrifices that both my husband and I had made to achieve it. As a lecturer, I constantly challenged myself to better my profession and achieve my goals. One of my long-term aspirations was to become a professor. I had always been on the lookout for ways to achieve my goal of becoming a professor. While working as a lecturer at the university, I met a charismatic young professor who showed an interest in me. He was a promising figure in the field, with numerous publications and research accomplishments to his credit. He seemed eager to get to know me better and discuss our shared academic pursuits. Initially, I was thrilled by his attention and enjoyed our conversations. Initially, I viewed him as a guide who could impart his wisdom and expertise to me. However, as the days went by, I realized that his attention towards me was not purely professional. He made inappropriate remarks and advances towards me, often requesting me to visit his workspace or proposing that we team up on assignments. Initially, I attempted to disregard his behavior and focus on my tasks, but it became progressively challenging. I found myself torn between my professional aspirations and my personal morals. While I aimed to progress in my career and ultimately become a professor, I was also aware that engaging in a sexual relationship with a colleague would compromise my principles and possibly ruin my standing. Despite my dilemma, he made his intentions clear and expressed his wishes for a romantic liaison. Initially, I made it clear to him that I was a married woman and declined his advances, but he persisted and gave me little room to breathe, leaving me with much to ponder. He is undoubtedly the ideal partner and one of the few people with whom I would like to associate. Furthermore, his expertise and experience would greatly benefit me in achieving my professional goals. After weighing him against my husband, he surpasses him in every aspect. He possesses a higher level of education and possesses a wealth of knowledge. Additionally, he is intellectually stimulating and attractive. Eventually, I gave in and began a secret affair with him while keeping my husband in the dark. As time passed, I found myself increasingly drawn to the young professor's charisma and intellect. Our conversations grew more personal, and we began spending more time together outside of work, enjoying drinks and discussing scholarly articles over dinner. Initially, brainstorming for potential research projects seemed to be an innocent activity. Nonetheless, things rapidly went awry, and we soon found ourselves seeking refuge in motels, making the most of every precious moment we had together. As much as I relished the attention and thrill of the affair, I was conscious that it was improper. I was disloyal to my husband, who had made numerous sacrifices to help me achieve my aspirations. Additionally, I was betraying myself. Despite feeling guilty, I couldn't resist the young professor's captivating aura and extraordinary intelligence. His allure was too strong. Whenever my husband expressed concern or dissatisfaction, I attempted to ease his worries by boasting about my successes in my profession and discussing the difficulties of working in academia. I felt as though I was always justifying my actions by providing explanations. But I didn't have any other strategies. Despite everything that occurred, my husband remained an affectionate and encouraging force in my existence. Throughout my work, he remained a constant source of motivation and support, always available to lend a hand whenever I needed it. Despite knowing that my betrayal was hurting him, I couldn't seem to end the affair, even though I tried. I had no idea that my actions would ultimately lead to the most devastating and crippling experience of my entire existence. That day will forever be etched in my memory as the day my life was completely turned upside down. The day that sealed my fate, the professor extended his customary invitation to meet him at a hotel. Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse. The moment I agreed to meet him there, the situation quickly escalated into something far more serious. Upon leaving the hotel, my husband unexpectedly confronted me, having witnessed me exiting in a manner that could be construed as inappropriate with the professor. To see him there was an overwhelming shock for me. But the revelation of how he had arrived there was even more stunning and distressing. In order to help finance my education, my partner had borrowed money from the hotel management. Despite his regular payments towards the debt, he never informed me of it. When he witnessed me exiting with the professor, he had just returned from the hotel, where he had made another payment earlier that day. Upon seeing my husband, I was caught off guard, and he immediately burst into tears at the sight of me conversing with the professor. I had no inkling that he would be staying at one of the most luxurious and costly hotels in the city. It was an unexpected and challenging scenario for me to navigate. The pursuit of my professional goals had interfered with my personal values, resulting in a perplexing and agonizing situation. Following the exchange with my husband at the front desk, I rushed back to our hotel room, feeling bewildered and disoriented. I had been waiting in the hotel room, hoping to provide my husband with an explanation for what had transpired and to ask off for his forgiveness. However, he was so upset and hurt that he refused to listen to anything I had to say. Without a word, he stormed out of the hotel room, leaving me feeling bewildered and uncertain about what to do next. I was at a loss. Overwhelmed, I felt completely alone. The assistant professor's student intervened, taking my hand and guiding me to the waiting vehicle. He drove me home, but as we approached my residence, a sense of dread and fear overwhelmed me. I knew that opening the door would be a difficult task, because I would have to face my husband and explain everything that had taken place. Upon entering the bedroom, I found him sobbing uncontrollably, showing no sign of stopping. I stood beside him and attempted to explain what had occurred, but he refused to listen to me. Despite his refusal to make eye contact, I could see the pain and sorrow in his eyes. The following morning, I awoke with an overwhelming sense of regret and grief. I had caused my husband, who had done so much for me, to suffer harm. I was at a loss as to how I could make amends for my actions. When I got ready for the day, I couldn't locate my husband. When I tried calling him, his phone went straight to voicemail. I became increasingly concerned, but I assumed he was out for a stroll or attempting to clear his mind. Unbeknownst to me, he had sought the counsel of a lawyer and was already proceeding with the divorce process. It wasn't until I received the divorce papers in the mail that I learned of his intentions. I was shocked and struggled to accept that our marriage had deteriorated to such a degree. Unfortunately, matters did not improve thereafter. My husband reported to the institution about inappropriate behavior between me and my lover. This led to a meeting with the dean, during which it was evident that my spouse had already disclosed all the details to them. The meeting left us feeling ashamed and motivated. My partner and I were charged with violating the school's code of conduct, and as a consequence, we were warned of potential disciplinary consequences. When I gazed at the dean, I sensed his distress and fury, and I grasped that my time at the university had concluded. It was challenging to accept that husband would go to such lengths to harass me, and it was even more difficult to fathom that my spouse would engage in such malevolent behavior. The experience was a difficult lesson in comprehending the importance of our deeds, and I acknowledged the need to be accountable for my actions. Ultimately, I was terminated by the institute I was employed with, and my reputation was severely tarnished. As a final attempt, I approached the junior professor, hoping that he would consider rehiring me and aiding me in recovering from my missteps. Nevertheless, upon meeting him, I found him to be unfriendly and aloof. He made it clear that he had severed all ties with me and had no interest in continuing any form of relationship. I was devastated and ashamed of my actions. I had betrayed my values and principles, and as a consequence, I had forfeited everything that I had worked tirelessly to attain. My academic standing, as well as my profession and my abode, had been decimated. I was consumed by the feeling of failure, and I was clueless about how to navigate this arduous phase of my life. It took me an extended period to accept what had happened and to pardon myself for the errors that I had committed.